Well, Michael, we're going to talk about this beautiful engine that you've blessed by putting your hands on. I was waiting for you to touch it. I was like, whoo, boy, she's looking good. She is looking good. Well, we have jumped ahead quite a bit of time here. You know, some things have happened. Some pieces have gone on the engine, and we've made quite a bit of progress here. So, what's that word you like so much? Steamrolled ahead. We steamrolled ahead, boys and girls. Look at the engine. We have got ourselves an engine, and we didn't do a great job of telling you some details inside. So we're going to kind of backtrack. Oh, do you want to go get the piston from the other engine where we're going to do that, or the other garage? We're going to bring another piston out here. We're going to go over some details, but guys, we have got it pretty much almost all the way complete. All of the internal stuff, hard parts are in it. They're together. Rods, pistons, all the rings, cylinder head is bolted on, torqued down. We've got our beautiful pure diesel power intake on here. We've got our P-pump back on the truck. We've got all of our accessories. We've got our tappet cover, our fuel block-off plate from Keating on there. We've got our Keating front cover chilling, sitting right over here. We've got our adjustable pump gear back on. As you can see, we kind of marked everything the way we took it off, so we should be at the exact same timing as we were before. So we've got our Hamilton 188-220 cam in there. We've got all that stuff, so we might double check all of the timing stuff once we kind of get everything wrapped up. But got our oil pump in there. We're waiting on some gaskets and some random miscellaneous stuff. We're going to weld another bung in the oil pan, seeing that these blocks only have one oil drain in them. We're going to go ahead and weld another oil bung so we can have separate drains. That was one of the big things on the old engine. We wired together the turbo drains, not the best case scenario. So we're gonna have separate drains for each turbo. Spoiler alert, we are gonna be redoing some turbo stuff. You'll see that maybe in the next video, but this thing is almost ready to go back in the truck. Like I said, we're just missing a couple miscellaneous random things here. Michael has some tidbits of information to give you.
So the idea is to not line up all the piston gaps, and there's 100 different ways to do it, but basically we're just trying to keep as much compression in as possible without making them touch each other when they get hot. So what I try and do is I try and run the top ring on the intake side, because it should be cooler, because cold air should be coming from, you have cold air coming from this side into the ring gap, and then I 180 it from there because the gas has to go all the way around the ring to the other side. So it's pretty simple of gap here, and then you just keep going down. And there's 100 different ways to skin a cat, but that's how this one was assembled. So
other than that, I mean, yeah. we glued the fire rings to the head before we set it down on there. But yeah, I mean, everything went together pretty well. Yep. So we're happy with it. But there she is, almost ready to go back in. Anything else that you can think of that might help someone in their backyard? Oh, what was it? The valve clearance. Not the valve clearance. When you go to tighten your pedestal bolts down. Remember we were having that. So inside here, we're going to take a valve cover off for you guys. All right, so we're reading through your comments here on the 12 valve video because I said I was going to answer some questions, and one that keeps coming up besides Let's Go Brandon is that Michael need a hug. Do you need a hug, buddy? Are we going to sign up for like a hug day for Michael? All right, so what's this tip before I read through 200 comments on this video? So
we have our rocker pedestal. We need that to seal. That's where the oil comes up through the head.
It's got a little indexing ring to go in a hole.
And basically, if you loosen your rockers up and make sure that the cam's down, so the lobe's not up, so there's no pressure from push tubes to push these down, you can usually get them to seat with your hands. So basically, you just want to rotate the engine over. Don't just throw all 6 on at once. Put the ones on that are flush. Get your head stud kind of tight or taut, and then roll the engine over to put the ones on that have a big gap, because you'll have like a 1/4 inch gap here.
Yep.
Where it won't.
So really anytime you're changing your cam, your head gas, like anything to do with valve train, always loosen up all of your rockers all of the way, because like Michael was saying, you want the pedestal to sit flush down on it. Now, if you have these backed out all the way and they can still not sit flush, it's because the cam lobe is rotated in such a orientation that it's not going to allow it. Don't tighten that to force it down. Just rotate the engine over to move the cam enough to set it all the way down. So it is possible with these all the way loose to still not have that sit flush just by hand. Rotate the engine over and then you'll get it.
Yep.
So you'll have that on the big jobs, obviously, but in this instance, I think 4 of them sat down and then we rotated them around for the other 2. So you don't want to mess up the indexing ring. They get all smashed up. They get all messed up. This is a good one. I'm gonna read this one to you. A mat to protect your bedline bed, but you don't have a mat to protect your mat. Do you even care? Lots of Brandon comments. I just got it because it's Brandon from Enterprise and Brandon on the internet. That's hilarious. You guys with the Brandon comments are cracking us up. Everyone wants a pull truck. I think all 200 of these are just like pull truck video or comments.
170 of them are for sure. Do you even diamond C trailer?
Do you even diamond C trailer, my guy? Wow, those are some nice socks. Those are some nice socks. Everybody wants us to buy a pull truck. All right, all the comments. Nobody had any technical questions that they wanted to know about assembling an engine, so they just either it was about the pull truck or about something else. So nobody really wanted to know any more technical information. I mean, it's a 12 valve. It's a dinosaur. Bada bing, bada boom. Slap her together. Throw some bolts in it. Guesstimate on some torque specs, and you're there. You know what I mean? It's a 12 valve. You can't kill it.
Let's say we had some valves hitting the pistons. You can see it real good on number 1 right here. It's a good thing we put reliefs in, the new ones. Here's a spot that hopefully helps. We got this piece of block. I won't let the freeze plug hit, or I won't let it sit flat. So I just take these, just kind of mark a spot. We'll grind that out and install that again, because the seal should be here to here and not necessarily out here. So we'll trim that up and throw it in. Alright, got that cut out. Just test fit to make sure that fits around our casting. And then time to install. don't know if that's old oil or glue that they used or what, but nasty. Something that came up with the old engine, we had some head gasket failure on the old one, and then I'm not sure if this was just overlooked or if I'm just paranoid, but we had a full vaned water pump in there. We got a new water pump, and as you can see, it cut some blades down, trying to like prevent so much water pressure.
Well, guys, seeing that, we don't really, Michael, we don't really know where we left off on our last clip because this has been over a couple days, but here's where we are at with the engine. Wanted to go over a couple other little things with you guys. As you can see, we just got it a little bit more dressed up. We're waiting on some pieces and some parts. We've got our FLEECE coolant bypass here on the back of this coolant plug, which normally has a plug. We're hoping that we don't have a clearance issue right around in this area with our firewall, but we'll find that out. But we have a bypass on there. If we can run that, which would be best case, we are going to run that. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. We've got other freeze plugs in the side of the block there for, you know, when we decide to just make some power. We've got our oil pan that is welded up with our second turbo drain right here. So we got 1 and 2 now because these 12 valve blocks only come with 1. You don't really want to Y together turbo drains if you don't have to. Path of least resistance. So we've got 2 in there. Just some accessories on the front. We've got our front cover on there. Some things that we were waiting on are injection lines, which are sweet. You want to, Vanna White, would you please, you know, maybe just, you just throw them on there, sir. You're looking so good this morning. So these lines we've got from Pure Diesel Power, just along with the intake manifold. They've got them pre-bent for this intake runner, which is really, really sweet. Hopefully, again, we don't clearance anything with a hood that needs to shut. If not, we'll just have to run hoodless, you know, like all those guys out there with Corvettes. You know, we just got to show off the goods. So, like I said, if you guys get this intake runner for a 12-valve build of yours, they can get you pre-bent lines directly for that. So they're not screwed down on there. They'll need some minor adjustment, but you can see they do go up and over. I believe these are 093 boys. So some more fuel, right? Ooh, some Mo fuel. Mo fuel. Really, really nice. So just wanted to show you guys those injection lines. We'll get those kind of put on there probably once the engine's in. We're pretty much almost ready to put the engine in. We've got our injectors all in there, sticking with the same 5x25s that were in it. Again, reiterating, we're not changing fuel as of right this second. If you guys hear some noises going off in the back, the guys are working on the shop in the back, which means we are that much closer to, you know, testing out some power on a spinny rolly thing in the ground, which we're very excited about. Last but not least, wanted to show you guys just a quick, it's funny because we needed this stuff from Fluid Damper and they were like, hey, by the way, we're gonna send you this stuff, but make sure you tell people this important part. So we had our Fluid Damper on there from the beginning when we first took this engine apart very long time ago. So we're gonna keep that. Obviously, we don't need to change this. This has a kind of a lifetime span. There's no service, there's no anything. This is good to throw back on, but we did not have a full power kit, and Michael recommended, because more RPMs, more power, we need to, I never had any dowels. So 12 valve cranks, unlike common rails, do not have any dowel pins in that. So we want to go ahead and put some pins in there. So we went ahead and got their full power package, which is what we run on everything regardless. And then we're gonna have their drill pin kit. Here's the part numbers real quick if you guys need them. There's a drill pin kit, and there is the full power package. But the main thing is, if you guys are taking a build apart and putting it back together and reusing a damper, this friction washer right here, which is some of the secret sauce that goes right here, this goes in between the crank and the damper, that needs to be replaced every single time that you take it apart. So kind of a one-time use thing. They wanted me to share that with you guys, kind of an unknown thing. I did not know that, so luckily they kind of gave me that forewarning. But again, secret sauce of keeping your damper in one place. All this stuff, really nice ARP hardware. We've got our kind of like barring tool built into it. I believe they call it a hone plate. Talking really fast right now, but this gives you everything you need to drill, put some pins in there. We're gonna go ahead and do that. And then after that, we are gonna be ready to jab this thing back in the truck. Very excited, very excited. Should be making smoke here relatively soon. Probably not in this video, but very soon, because we're gonna probably reveal the new turbo setup in the next video. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Anything else to add there, sweetheart? Ooh, cover up that box, cover up that box. We don't wanna cover that.